Hello everyone, this is a guide to Speedrun Wizard of Legend. Whether you want to submit a speedrun to the leaderboards or just get faster at the game, then this guide will help you. As for myself, I am a speedrunner for this game. I have submitted to a few different categories, but don't feel daunted about trying speedruns for the first time. The barrier for entry is literally just hitting the record button and playing the game. I will point out there's a lot of RNG in the run, like random things that can happen out of your control. You can have different council members, different map layouts, and item shops will have different relics every time. However, we do have things that we can control, like our loadout and preparation before we enter the trials. Let's take a look at the robes first. The Venture robe is probably the best robe you can have for the trials. You have more damage, you have faster run speed, you have reduced cooldowns, but you do have a drawback of less health. However, because you do more damage, your counters will be a little bit shorter, and in that way it is a little bit safer. The R robe is also a good choice. You have increased critical hit chance and critical hit damage. The other robes I recommend are Tempo, Fury, and Hope. While any build can work, I'm only going to show you two very effective builds. The first build is the Beginner Speedrunner build. For the Arcana, your basic is going to be Bolt Rail, your dash will be Chaotic Rift, your standard will be Phantom Brigade, and your signature is going to be Chaotic Buster. This build offers really good single target damage burst and decent crowd control. If you don't have Chaos Arcana unlocked just yet, don't worry, I'll give you an alternate build you can use. For Bolt Rail, the enhanced version is extremely good. It can stun in a very small area. I will admit that Bolt Rail is pretty hard to adjust to if you're not used to it, mainly because you stand still and you have to line up enemies. But as you get better at kiting enemies and grouping them together, Bolt Rail will really shine through. The best dash you can have for speedrunning is Chaotic Rift. You can jump through the map, you can do room skips, and you can dodge attacks very safely. Phantom Brigade offers convenient crowd control, and is pretty good for mini-boss encounters where you have a lot of enemies. It also staggers them for a bit to let you figure out your next move, and it doesn't need to be aimed. You do need to be kind of close for it to activate though, otherwise it'll just fizzle out. If you're only against one enemy, then you still have very good damage burst when you activate it, because every phantom will attack that one target. Chaotic Buster lets us burst down a target very quickly with a high amount of damage. You do have to charge it up, but it charges up very quickly. The second build is the Discount Speedrunner build, for those of you that don't have access to Chaos Arcana. For Arcana, your basic is once again Bolt Rail, your dash is Wavefront, your standard is Twin Turbines, and your signature is Inferno Beam. This build offers really good crowd control, stuns, and utility. Wavefront can shield you from attacks while giving you the added bonus of pushing enemies into pits. Twin Turbines lets you lay out a lightning trap in a large area that stuns enemies, builds signature charge, and destroys projectiles that are coming right at you. The one drawback is that it's a projectile itself, which means it can be cancelled before you even have the chance to use it by another enemy. Inferno Beam is pretty good against enemies that use a lot of projectiles or they're really far apart. Also, if you find Bladed Buckler in the item shop, it can essentially recharge its own signature by destroying projectiles. If you don't pick these, instead look for Arcana that meets the requirements of decent room clearing abilities, single target burst, and dashes for survivability or utility. There's only one relic we really care about bringing along with us, and that's the Pathfinder's map. When you pull out the map in the trials, you can clearly see every point of interest. There's a few NPCs in the Plaza that we can talk to for help, but we only really need Jade. She lets us trade Chaos Gems for 200 gold, so if we find a shop on the way to a mini-boss, we can get a damage boosting relic to help us out. Let's talk about the trials themselves. There are essentially 4 levels of randomly chosen elements. The first 3 levels are divided into 3 stages. The first 2 stages have a mini-boss encounter at the end. The last stage of that level has a council member fight. Stage 1 is called 1-1, Stage 2 is 1-2, so the boss is on 1-3. After you beat the first 3 levels, then you move on to the Chaos Rooms, where there's only one mini-boss. After you defeat that mini-boss, then you get to move on to Master Sura, who has 2 phases. We want to get to each mini-boss as fast as possible, while getting as many damage boosting relics as we can find, without losing too much time in the process. We want as many advantages as possible when we fight the council members, because those fights can be very difficult. You could start out with a Curse Relic from Nox, but we're not going to need to. Once we enter the trials, let's pull out the map and see every location. There are 4 specific locations that we care about: Nox, the Miniboss room, the Arcana shop, and the item shop. We ideally want to get a good Curse Relic from Nox, especially if it's on the way to the Miniboss. If it's on the other side of the map, there's a slight chance I might skip it if there are too many locked rooms on the way. We want to get any relic that can boost our damage without too many drawbacks. Double Trouble is one relic I will grab every single time, because it does allow us to skip phases of bosses and clear out rooms really fast. So the drawback of taking more damage is basically avoided. The longer a fight goes on, the more damage you're likely to take, and the more dangerous it becomes. The other relic to be on the lookout for are keys. Each key gives us a potentially new starting point when we spawn into a new map. So we could end up closer to the mini-boss encounter as soon as we spawn in. Just be careful about picking up the cracked sapphire key from Nox. It makes every mini-boss encounter very difficult. If you can safely get to an Arcana shop, make sure you get the enhanced version of Bolt Rail. This will help us deal with groups of enemies a lot more efficiently. Pits break our momentum pretty easily, so we want to run to the edge of a pit and then dash in a straight line over it. This might seem like basic knowledge, but every time we fall, we are taking some damage and losing time. When it comes to locked rooms, we need to know how to efficiently deal damage with our Arcana. Let's say you have a stationary archer and a moving knight. You want to kite the knight towards the archer and then combo them both down. This is a very efficient use of your Arcana. Always try grouping up enemies whenever you can. To group up enemies, you want to move to one wall of the room and then rotate around the perimeter. Every time you cut a corner, you'll notice that they start grouping up together closer and closer. If there are pits in the room, you should try to push them into the pits to save more time. For mini-bosses and council members, you'll notice they have a yellow aura around them. That means they cannot be stunned until it wears off. It does wear off after they finish their attack or combination. As their health gets lower, that window for punishing them becomes shorter and shorter each time. For every council member you beat, enemies basically level up one time. You'll notice they have an extra attack or they have a buff or ability, and council members gain one extra attack in their combination. Enemies and bosses will move faster as they level up. This also means if you count the number of attacks a council member does, you will be able to predict when they can be punished right afterwards, so you can get into position earlier. A level 1 council member will do 3 attacks in a combination before they become vulnerable, a level 2 will do 4 attacks, and a level 3 will do 5 attacks. If you do want to submit a run to the leaderboards, make sure you show the end screen that shows your total time and all the items you picked up on your run. I did want to go more in depth with Master Sura. Master Sura has 2 phases. In phase 1 he has a shield. While he has a shield out, he cannot be harmed or stunned. In phase 1 he only has 5 attacks: Chaotic Buster, Distortion Beam, Mortal Coil. He can summon 5 agents around him, and use Null Parade. After he casts a spell, you should immediately cast all of yours. He casts 3 Distortion Beams in a row, and you can literally just run around him. When he casts Mortal Coil, you can see that the arena is divided into wedges. You can stand in the area of an empty wedge to safely avoid the attack and still punish him. He can cast agents, but they can mostly be ignored, and they also disappear as soon as he enters phase 2. The agents all die in one hit, so a basic or a cast from your Phantom Gate will take care of them. When he uses Null Parade, you'll see the ground light up with little red circles. Just get out of the way of those. For Chaotic Buster, you're going to want to dash away from him in a circle. A good guideline is to not be too close or too far away from him. When he enters phase 2, he will cast 5 elemental spells and then use a chaos signature. And just like in phase 1, don't be too near the edge of the arena or near the center either. The reason you don't want to be in the center is because he'll keep dashing around you and it's hard to predict which side he'll attack you from. Again, just wait for him to cast a chaos spell before you try and punish him. If he casts a chaos spell when he's at the edge of the arena, you know he's going to dash near the center so you can predict where he's going to end up. He will always dash twice until you stop him. If you do see him cast Aqua Beam, that is a good move to punish because he stands still for a long time. His Distortion Beam attack will divide the arena into wedges. You'll want to stand in the middle of one wedge to safely avoid it. When he casts Chaotic Buster, just run in an arc around him. When he casts Mortal Coil, running in an arc around it also works. When he casts his agents, try and find a safe spot and maybe take out an agent at the same time. They do linger a bit, which is annoying, but you'll be able to get rid of them as you're dashing away from Sura. Null Parade has a short delay before it lands and you'll see red circles on the ground. It only goes along a center line of the arena, so you can get to the edge and be fine. I'll try to give you an example of what a run could look like. I will try to commentate as best as I can. It might be a little bit harder during the fights though, so I'm getting 200 gold from Jade, and we can get started. Lightning matchup, it's not too bad. Alright, so let's pull up the map. And I can't even see where the end is, but I know on the mini-map I see a blue arrow, so I have an idea where to go. Dodge through. Okay, and now I can finally see it. This is one locked room. And it grew up the enemies together. Very efficient usage. I could pop into the Relic shop. See what I can get. Nothing too great, so I'll just keep going. I want to see if that's Nox up there, so I might go visit. It's not, so I guess I'll just keep going. Let's get started. Sometimes I like to prep up this charge. Group them together. I'm going to take care of the ad first. Now I can just focus entirely on him. And even without damage boosting items, I can still deal a lot of damage. A minute and 11 seconds. It's not too bad. Okay, item shop's actually pretty close, so we could stop by. And we have a key that could be really nice. Yeah, we'll just keep going. Jump through the map. I want to avoid some encounters, so I'll go this way. Can't avoid this one though. Try and group these two together. Alright, I'm going to check out the Arcana shop really quick. And Fuel Berserk is actually pretty good for us. Let me see if I can jump through it. Nope, can't jump it. Oh, maybe I can. Can I jump here? Yep. That's why Chaotic Rift is really good. And again, no damage boosting yet. Hummingbird Feather is really good, so I can just run through pits now. So I don't have to waste break in momentum now, so that's pretty good. Get to full health. Twins is really annoying if you get them later on, but it's not too bad if you get them super early. That's a good way to dodge it. Oh, almost skipped phase 2. Alright, not too bad. I did take some extra damage there at the start, but it's pretty recoverable. And 41 seconds is a pretty good time. And right away we get teleported. There's glass cannon, but we do have 300 health, so maybe that could be a bad idea. We do have bee witching glue, which makes us slower. I think I might pick that, actually, because I can just dash everywhere instead. Let's see. It's actually pretty close by. Oh, didn't manage to skip this one. Okay, my damage is pretty good, so I can't really push that guy into a pit because he dies too fast. Alright. Took more damage than I would have liked, but I think it's fine. That's pretty good. Alright, let's keep going. Stage 2. So the enemies have leveled up with 1 time. They do have extra abilities and buffs now. Okay, that's pretty good. Teleport pretty close by. Oh yeah, I have the feather, so I can just run across now. Oh, I didn't get to buff in time. Okay, not too bad. What's this do? I don't think I want that. I like to charge it pretty fast. Even though it does do a crit, I think I'm fine. I don't actually need to. So now we should do 4 attacks in a combination before he's vulnerable. That's the second attack. That's 3. And that's 4. And now that he's below 50% health, he's gonna do a signature on this attack. Alright, not too bad. 2 cycle. Shock agent, that's always nice. 47 seconds, not too bad. I did get hit once, which is kind of annoying. I don't really need this. I'll just get closest to the portal. Right, I keep jumping around. Don't need to. Every level up, they split 1 more time. And the Field Berserk is really nice. That's pretty good. I got really lucky with this Arcana. I'll pick that up. I don't really need to. Let's see what we get. This is actually pretty good. This is also really good. I guess I'll just go ahead and pick it up. The dagger actually would have been better, but I don't. It just doesn't matter. Alright. Oh, that's bad. Alright, that's not too bad there. Did recover, had some issues. I could get some extra health. I am going to the boss though, so there will be some health to pick up. So I can save gold. Yep. Zeal's really difficult when it's a level 3 boss. Just for a signature alone. Yeah, I'm already having trouble. Oh, I missed. Oh well. She's gonna do a signature now. Alright, that was pretty tough. Level 3 bosses are always like the first wall you probably face. Because it's just surviving. You shouldn't focus on punishing them during their attacks, just dashing around. I'm gonna save this heal until after this encounter. I like to get rid of the turrets right away, and leave these guys last. Okay. I like to stand here for this mage. It's always the same every time. Okay. Wait for your cooldowns if you need to. This guy teleports twice now. You don't really need that chest, but you could. This is what I would have liked early on. This can save you quite a bit. This would help us live, so I'm gonna grab it. We are gonna get health when we enter, but I'm just gonna grab this anyway. Doesn't really matter, but that's just an option you have if you have less health than I do. Alright, let's start out. Oh, I did too much damage. I wasn't expecting to. Okay. You can wait for your cooldowns to come back as you're talking to him. I highly recommend doing that. Sometimes I just like to dash through him, but then you do something like that, so sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Try not to get on the very edge of the map, because one of his earth attacks will push you to him and you'll get stun locked completely. Wow, so close. Let me see if I can get my agents out. Yeah, okay. That's not too bad. Not as good as I would have liked, but it would have been worse with glass cannon, definitely. So overall, pretty quick run. It does reinforce some of the things I talked about earlier. And things did go wrong, which is great. Shows you what I might need to cover a little bit better. Ideally, I would like to make a guide for every boss and mini-boss. I wanted to include it with this, but that's just way too overwhelming when it comes to information. 11 minutes. Alright, not too bad, not too bad. This is glitchless, so no tutorial glitch. I didn't start out with any Relic from Nox right away. Those are really nice if you want to cut down your time even more. The key really is nice because you start out new places, so that's good. Alright, overall pretty good. I'm pretty happy about this run. And just to reiterate, this is a simplified guide for speedrunning. There were a lot of concepts I just did not cover, such as room skips, trading attacks, which means you're attacking and taking damage at the same time, and also individual enemies. They can have some very dangerous movesets and can stun lock you as well. But the reason I didn't include it into this guide was because a lot of these things just come with experience and testing. A big thing about doing speedruns is that you have to fail over and over and then learn from those mistakes. It's not always enough to have a guide to help you out. You should be more prepared now to do speedruns, and as you do more and more runs, you will see that you're a bit more confident about fights. You'll start seeing which relics are more important and what Arcana suit your playstyle a lot better. I'll see about making a guide for mini-bosses and council members, or at least a showcase of all of their moves and how to deal with them. I don't know if I'll get to it anytime soon though. Please let me know if you have any questions about the run or the game in general.